Hello, welcome to my review of Peppermint. I give this film 8 out of 10 scoops of ice cream. I love Jennifer Garner in this film. She is badass. It's a female-led movie by a badass. And if you like that, this is for you. But the thing is, reviewing a film like this is difficult because is it Oscar worthy? No. Is it worth the price of admission? Yeah, it is. Is it what if I gave it some other movie an 8 out of 10, like, I don't know, an Ant-Man and the Wasp or something like that? Does that mean that these are both equal in scale and scope and, productivity and stuff like that? No. The thing with reviewing movies is you got to do it by yourself. Sure, I like making an analogy. If you liked, I don't know, Hunger Games, but you wanted an R version with guns instead of just bow and arrows, then this is for you, because I think the badassness of Jennifer Lawrence and that role of Katniss Everdeen is parallel to Peppermint, the movie with Jennifer Garner as Riley North. That's the kind of same thing I'm going for here. An analogy like that, but I'm still going to review this film on its own with what it could do with the production, the staff, the music, all that jazz. All that movie comes together into what is something, and I can review that and how effectively it did that. So, Infinity War, yeah, 9.5 or something like that. I haven't officially reviewed it yet, even though it's literally right behind me, wrong way, is different to review than something like Peppermint. So, it's an 8 out of 10 means that this movie almost did everything perfectly for what it was given. So, there's other flaws in this film, but overall, what it was given, what it could have been, so much better. It was good. So, let's just get into it. So Jennifer Garner, like I said, plays Riley North, a mom who loses her husband and her daughter to gang violence, and then she disappears. Disappears for 5 years, literally does a Batman Begins type thing where she just goes and trains. And that's realistic. It would take multiple years for just a regular mom to know how to take down cartels. It's going to take some time. And you could see that her moves and the way she does things, like, they fit with like military training or something, like a background like that. How she got her money to get out of her life. It all makes sense. Like, it's, yeah, you could say, oh, it's just written like that, but it makes sense. It's not just forcibly put in there. It makes sense, and it happens kind of naturally. It doesn't happen, oh, she needs money, oh, well, this thing happened. It's set previously in the film of how she gonna get the money. If you look back at it, at the time you're just like, oh, it's just a job, but once she needs to disappear and go train, then it makes sense of how she gets the money. And stuff like that, I think, is brilliant, and that adds to the intrigue and the score of this movie. Stuff like that. Anyway, so she tried to go to the court system. Like, the system failed her. That's the whole premise of the movie, that the system failed, and it's her time to go get justice. And she brings it. Like, she brings it, bro. She goes down hard on a lot of these villains, gang members type thing, and she goes hard, and it's awesome. It's a mix between John Wick action, which I think is like pinnacle of action. John Wick is long shots of continuous action, no cuts, edits, Taken 3 and like movies like that on the far end. That's bad, where it's just to get a certain shot in, like the change, each snap is like representing a change of the camera. I don't like that. This is in between. There are some steady action pieces, but other things, if like a character gets kicked, then it'll switch over, and I get that. It'll switch the view to emphasize the kick or something like that. I get that. I like that. So it's a good mix, a good blend, which also adds to its score. Pierre Morel directed this film, and speaking of the Taken franchise, he's directed the first Taken, and he also directed From Paris with Love, if any of you guys saw that one. John Gallagher Jr. is in this film. Nice mustache, bro, by the way. He was in Jonah Hex and 10 Cloverfield Lane, I believe. And then an unknown person to me is Juan Pablo Raba, and I'm really sorry if I mispronounced that. He's from Narcos and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I love him in this. I want to go watch Narcos right now because I loved him in this film. You can say, oh, he was just a generic bad guy, numero uno, but holy frack, he was scary. I liked him a lot, and I want to go watch Narcos because of that. And also Method Man is in this film. That's kind of not a minor character, but he's there. I agree with most people when reviewing this film that Jennifer Garner is trying her dangest to just put this into the stratosphere in terms of acting. You feel her pain. You feel, you know, each cut, each shot, each like physical thing as much as you feel the mental and like the heartache. You feel each of those, because she just does a good job, a great job of that. And I give her, like, this movie a solid 3 points just because of her. You know, it's just that good. Like the turmoil of her losing her family, her coping with mental illness, of like the effects of that and getting shot kind of on the side of the head a little bit. It's all real and it's all there, and I feel it through the script, through her acting. And not everyone is on her scale, and if everyone was, this is going to get to a 9, you know, maybe 9.5, but not everyone else is on her level. There's a couple plot twists, and I'll maybe vaguely mention them at the end of this a little bit, as I usually do with spoilers, but it's all fine. The twist like that and how the movie ends is good. There's a scene where you think the movie is going to end, and then it doesn't. It keeps on going, but it makes sense of how it does. The biggest thing I think to take away from this film is that there is a blurred line of good and evil. The most evil character still, at a point, was hugging a child, protecting the child with his own body from violence and gunshots and stuff like that. So he's not pure evil. A pure evil guy would have, you know, strapped the child on his back to take the bullets from him while he's running away, or something like diabolical like that. He had moments of being a human, and then our good character, you know, Jennifer, did kill a man in cold blood with the police right there, where he could have gone back into prison. And it's kind of a minor spoiler, but I didn't tell you who. So, and it's just blurred lines everywhere. Even the best cop that throughout the whole film was trying to be a good person the entire time, at the end he still did something illegal for a good cause, but it was still illegal, which makes him a blurred character as well, even if it's just a slight blur. But I appreciate that. You know, in a revenge film, it's hard just not to have set good, set evil. You know, good characters, I think, are really close to that line of like merging together into like an anti-hero. So for minor vague spoilers, I think the blurred lines thing makes a lot of sense. I touched that a little bit. So for minor spoilers, the beginning is worthless. It's a cool scene, but it has no relevance to the rest of the film. You know, at the end of the film, you know, you might forget that it happens, but I was like, what was the purpose of that? Why did it exist? Just to have a set intro piece? It was cool, you know, but wasn't necessary. And the three gunmen that killed Jennifer's or Riley's daughter and husband were killed off screen. If this is a revenge film, you know, why weren't they killed on screen? You know, why we didn't see them get, you know, just wrecked by Jennifer? You know, a minor complaint there. I mean, still, I think the main purpose was that Riley North, or Jennifer Garner's character, was going to go through the entire lineup, everyone affected, even remotely, even the guy that just said go on the mission to kill her family. Like, everyone in that line must die. And I get that, and I think it adds, because if you took the time to like really bring out the three people that were the gunmen, who were just really low mans on the totem pole, then this film would have been a lot longer, a lot more, you know, kind of like Dread, like where it's just drained out action the entire way. When you get rid of them at the beginning, or pretty quickly, then it opens up to more dialogue and more scenes of character development kind of thing. And I think it worked out okay. It's still just kind of, why didn't they do it? So I got doxa points for that. And also a side note, like the people are saying this film is racist just because it's, you know, a lot of gang Mexican cartels, but it has other gangs other than, you know, people of Spanish or Mexican descent. So there was another cartel, I think it said in Korean cartel or Vietnamese or some other cartel was also getting hit by Jennifer's character. You know, it's lightly mentioned, and then you also see some bodies, I'm pretty sure. I might be incorrect on that, but I'm pretty sure I wrote that in my notes after the movie was done, that there was another group that was getting wrecked by Jennifer. So she's not entirely racist. It's just the one cartel that happened to kill her family was of a certain descent. Someone like Juan in this movie, I would never know of without this movie. I want to go see more of his work. I want him to be more in Hollywood's box office. I want him to be in a bigger scene. I think he could. I liked him a lot. Think of him as, you know, a new Machete 3, Juan Pablo. That was also generic. I'm sorry, that was a bad reference. But I don't put him in something. He's so badass that I want him in more stuff, and I would never know that without watching this film with the Mexican cartel as the main antagonist here. He was great. I want to see more of him. And it's good that it opens up dialogue too. Sure, I don't think it's well founded, but it opens up dialogue and makes sure we're all on the same page of, all people are on the same team. And movies that have Russians as the villains, or the Koreans, or the Chinese, or, like those are commonplace, but we don't give, slack for that. Also, the film name is weird. Peppermint is just a flavor of ice cream that Jennifer's kid has before she dies. I think you could have named it a lot more, like Angel Vengeance or something like that. I don't know, just the top of my head. Also, I do like that Jennifer's character is in disbelief of how her family got killed. Her family got killed because her husband was going to take a job to rob the cartel. That's all this started. And he called and said, hey, I'm out. I don't want to do this. I want to keep my family safe. Count me out. I'm not involved. But the cartel didn't care because he thought about stealing from them. And that was enough for them to go after. And Jennifer, when the cops told her that your husband was going to do this, she's like, no, he would never. And the cops said, yeah, he would never, because he called to say no. I like that. That was a humanizing bit. And that was also another bit where there's a revenge part, like a minor revenge thing for Garner's character to punch a certain mom in the face. And it's scared because she says, I'm going to kill you and burn your house to the ground. And this other character pees. And I went and saw this with my girlfriend, and she thought that was kind of weird. I think that's what she said. I might plagiarized her words a bit. But I thought that was realism. If I'm weaker backbone and weaker skin, I'm probably going to pee my pants too. That's realistic. There's a lot of realistic things here. Jennifer gets stabbed in a certain scene. The rest of the movie, she's limping. She gets shot a lot. She gets stabbed a lot. The wounds of the night, of like the 24 or 48 hours of this film happening, they take a toll. You could see them take a toll in the entire film. I love that. That's continuity. That's great stuff right there. So if you like action films, if you like female-led action films, or you're just a fan of Jennifer Garner, this is the movie for you. Those three things are why you should watch this film. I think it's great. I stick with my 8. A lot of people are giving it some rotten scores, and it's not doing so well. Box office, I think it's made a couple million, but I want stuff like this to succeed. People say it's just a generic revenge film, but I think it's a little bit more than that. There's a little bit of heart in here. There's a lot of heart in here. There's a lot of work in here. A lot of cool action done in here. I think for that, it's going to be memorable. And that's my review. So if you guys like, just go ahead and subscribe wherever I'm going to put it, if I remember to put it in here anywhere. And just remember, I'm Clark Addison. I review entertainment because I care. And I'll see you guys in the next one.